My name is Susan, and I'm an online admissions rep for George Mason. And I am joined with Dr. Bellos, the program director for our online MBA, as well as two guest speakers, Pat and Jessica. So without further ado, Dr. Bellos, do you want to take it away?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Susan. Hi, everyone. My name is Yanis Belos. I am an associate professor of information systems and operations management here at the School of Business at George Mason University. I am also the MBA program director, but I have to admit that my favorite hat is that of the MBA faculty, someone who has been interacting and teaching MBA students for the past several years in a variety of formats, whether face-to-face, hybrid, or online. I look forward to sharing my perspectives with everyone today. I am thrilled to be in the company of Jessica and Pat. Those are our guest stars this evening. In the next slide, you can see we have put brief bios. I think it speaks volumes when our current or past students take the time to talk about the program. Both of them, they are very close to graduation. As a matter of fact, I will be thrilled. I will have the pleasure to see them in person this Friday during our graduation dinner in Arlington. So I'm grateful for both of them being here this evening, and I look forward to meeting in person with them. You will have the opportunity to ask Jessica and Pat any questions that you have about their experience in this program. Okay, so let's talk Mason MBA. As you can see in the next slide, our program comprises 48 credits. That is 10 core courses, 5 elective courses, and 1 global requirement, which students can meet by choosing between an international residency and a traditional course with an international emphasis. As you may already know, we offer 2 separate delivery formats. One is face-to-face with evening classes taking place on our Fairfax and Arlington campuses. And the other one, the focus of this session is our fully online mode. In this session, we will focus on our online program, but both programs, both the in-person and the online program, are equivalent in terms of course content and structure. Speaking of courses, all courses take place over 8 weeks, over 8-week modules. Each semester, fall, spring, and summer has 2 modules. A distinctive characteristic of our program is that although this is an asynchronous online program, we choose class sizes that facilitate interpersonal connections between the instructor and in general among the students. I should not forget to brag about a couple of things. Both our online and face-to-face MBA programs are in the top 100 programs. Most recently, US News and World Report ranked us number 65 in the best part-time MBA nationally and number 51 in the best online MBA programs among public universities. On the admission side, our MBA program is test optional. However, if you would like to submit a test score with your application, we invite you to do so. But from our side, this is completely optional. Students who enroll in our program take courses from faculty members who do cutting-edge research in their domains. They are known and well respected in their fields, and they are frequently quoted in the business and popular press. Our faculty specialize in 3 broad areas: ensuring global futures, digital transformation of work, and entrepreneurship and innovation. More than 40% of them come from international origins, like myself, and nearly half of the faculty speaks more than 1 language. In the next slide captures a snapshot of our MBA student population. The average age of our students is 33 years old, with an average work experience of 9 years. The split between male versus female is around 57-43, but given the trends that we have seen, we expect this to get closer to 50-50 within the next few admission cycles. Our students have majored in a diversity of fields such as psychology, law, English, communications, engineering, and so on. This is to emphasize that you do not need prior training in business to do an MBA. The top three reasons for which our students decide to do an MBA are career advancement, the opportunity for professional development, and the desire to change careers or industries. As you can see in the next slide, the average salary at graduation is in the 6 digits. Speaking of graduation, in the graduating class of 2021, 94% of our students were employed at graduation, with 94% of them in a position related to their career goals. The most popular industries for our graduates are consulting, government and government contracting, and financial services. Our alumni have a strong presence in companies such as Booz Allen, Boeing, Nestle, Northrop, and several government agencies in a variety of roles. In the next slide, you can see a snapshot of our curriculum. On the left side, you see the core required courses, and then on the right side, you see our elective courses. In addition to our core courses, which aim to enable students to gain a holistic understanding of business, we offer electives through which students can further improve both their soft and quantitative skills. Speaking of quantitative skills, one of the offerings that I would like to draw your attention is in the next slide, and it's specifically our certificate in business analytics. This is a 12-credit certificate that requires four courses: data mining for business analytics, and three more elective courses that you can see on the right side. I should emphasize that students can pursue this certificate as part of the MBA program or as a standalone option without being admitted to the program. Students can use the certificate as a pathway to the MBA program or not. That is, if you join the MBA program after you have completed the certificate, you can use the certificate credits towards the 48 credits of the MBA program that I mentioned earlier. In the next slide, you can see some of the places that our MBA students have visited through global residency in the past. Jessica, I'm wondering if you are in one of those photos here, because I know that you traveled, you did travel last year. Perhaps Jessica can talk more about this experience at the end of this. At the end of the slide, at the end of this presentation. But overall, our students spent a week abroad visiting and studying companies in a foreign country and participating in cultural activities. Last summer, Jessica, I think you traveled to Dubai?
That's correct.
That is okay. So
I am not in the slide deck though. So we'll have to
I'm sorry. And I believe, Pat, you are going to Estonia this summer.
That is correct.
I promise you that you will make it to next virtual open house slides, Pat.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So, in terms of course expectations, in the next slide, overall, you should expect to learn a lot and have fun. No two courses are the same. Our instructors bring their unique approaches and teaching philosophies, but overall, our courses are interactive, and the instructors facilitate active learning through pre-recorded video lectures, optional live sessions, hands-on activities such as simulations, group projects, and real-life case studies. In terms of workload, the expected time per week is 6 to 8 hours per course, but that also varies based on prior education and professional background. This video will offer you a preview of our courses and how we deliver content to our students.
Welcome to the George Mason University Online MBA program. You've taken the first steps in beginning your graduate degree, and we're excited to support you through this journey. Like many students, you might have some questions about what it's like to take classes online, so we've put together this video to show you what it's like to be an online student. Let's start with a quick tour of Blackboard. All of your important information can be found by using the navigation on the left-hand side of your screen. Here you'll find a link to course announcements, your course syllabus, assignments, and the library. At George Mason, we believe strongly in providing you with opportunities to test your knowledge and receive feedback in real time.
The only difference is that we'll also add today's costs.
Faculty have curated and created custom videos and tutorials to provide you the opportunity to gain a deeper understanding of the content and build a broad network of peers who will enhance your perspectives and challenge your thinking through rich discussions and a variety of group work. Remember, your student success coach will be here to support you every step of the way, because at George Mason University, student success is our #1 goal.
A couple of things that I would like to emphasize is that our students have a diverse academic and work experience diverse academic and work experience backgrounds. No matter what your background is, the MBA team, faculty, and staff are here to work with you. Keep in mind that in my experience, commitment is the greatest predictor of student success. Lastly, before I hand it over to Jessica and Pat, I would like also to emphasize that students who join our MBA program, they're not just part of the Mason MBA or just the School of Business. They are part of the broader GMU ecosystem. So during your decision-making process, I will encourage you to also look at the many resources. For example, the various industry centers, like the Baroni Center for Government Contracting, the Center for Retail Transformation, or the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, just to mention a few that Mason can provide you access to. So thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and please feel to jump in to ask any questions you may have for me, Jessica, or Pat.
Absolutely. So Jessica, do you want to kick it off and share your experience with Mason's online MBA program?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So I really started the program at the beginning of the pandemic, and the online program proved to be, I would say, the perfect way for me to spend all that spare time that we had when we were all working from home. And what I really enjoyed the most was not only the diversification of the coursework that I got to take, but the fact that it offered, I would say, the 8-week modules. So those 8-week modules are fast-paced, but it allows you the opportunity to work through one set of course materials at a time and be laser focused on that specific course. And I found that easy to work through, as well as the flexibility that the program offered me to be able to come and go from course materials based on sort of what my schedule looked like. So it's really been a tremendous experience in personal and professional development. I would also offer that if you have the opportunity to go on the global requirement, I know Dr. Bellows was talking a little bit about that, I would highly encourage you to. That's a real opportunity for you to take the concepts that you have learned throughout the program and apply them in a live setting, as well as you get to meet with a number of businesses that the school has set up for you to meet with in their C-suite, and be able to talk about the things that you have been learning over the course. And I would say the global requirement really becomes the capstone of the entire program. So all in all, it has been a wonderful experience. And like Pat, I am looking forward to marching towards graduation next week.
Well, that's awesome. So how would you say it was working full time? And I know that you mentioned that you loved the focus of having just one course at a time, and that is wonderful. How would you say the work life and the juggling of all that, how did that work for you?
At the beginning of the pandemic, it was great. When we came back full time, I would say it has been a little bit challenging, but you have the opportunity to be able to, you have to be dedicated sort of in your approach and organized on when you're going to work on the deliverables for the course. I'm not the type of person that likes to wait until everything comes to the weekend and try to tackle it all at once. So I chose, Dr. Bellis is laughing because he knows that to be true of me. I like to chip away at things a little bit at a time. And so I would set aside time each evening, probably about, an hour, depending on sort of how early I got home from work, and work on it a little bit at a time. I always took Fridays off because we needed a break, and tried to wrap up any deliverables, I would say sometime on Saturday or Sunday if I could before I started the next week. It's
Wonderful.
doable, folks. It's doable. Don't be afraid to jump in and just go for it.
Cool. Yes, that's very important to hear. Pat, you have anything to add?
Yeah, Jessica, just piggyback on what she's saying. It's really all about time management. Even for me, I could say throughout the pandemic, even now with my promotion, I travel quite a bit for work. So even with that, I still make time to, tackle schoolwork plus, my job at the same time. It's really all about just planning. There will be weekends where you have to set aside for school and team up with your group and work on projects, deliverables, but it is manageable. It's a great experience, and the most important part is fun because of the networking, the people you meet, and you get to share your experience and your knowledge with everyone, and you get to learn a lot from your peers. So it is a great opportunity.
That's wonderful. And do y'all want to? Oh, go ahead. So sorry.
I should also add that if you're in a period in your career or let's say that during this year that work is not going to be as crazy as it used to be, you also have the option to double down or take more than one course per 8 weeks. And that can get you to graduation faster. We do see most of our students, they take one course per 8 weeks, but some students also choose to double down, and that brings them closer to brings them to graduation at a little bit at a faster pace.
Yeah, I have to say that apologies for sounding froggy, but the wonderful thing about this program is the flexibility. I don't think it can be beat. So you have the 33-month option, you have the 24-month option, and then like Dr. Bellis, you just mentioned, if you want to double up and complete it faster, you can. So that's absolutely amazing. And then on the flip side of the coin, sometimes life gets in the way. So we allow you up to 6 years to complete the degree. So that's really amazing. Y'all as guest speakers really come with, amazing credentials. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the jobs that you currently do and how this MBA is going to benefit you in your career? Don't be shy.
I'll go first, and then Pat, you can fill in a little bit. Yeah, so I work in financial services. I work for a company called Pinnacle Financial Partners. That's a really roundabout way of saying I work for a bank, and I work in business development and maintain a book of clients, specifically focused on middle market companies with complex deposit and treasury management needs. I've been doing this, I would say, for the past 15 to 16 years. And I did not have a business background going into this role. And so my goal for the program was really to build out a lot of the concepts that I needed to better service my clients, as well as I wanted the opportunity to demonstrate to my leadership that I could move into a leadership role as well. And I would say I'm well on the way in the path to getting there. And I had definitely seen a direct result of being able to better understand what I'm doing because of the MBA program.
That's amazing. Pat?
All right, so a little bit about me. I am a business consultant for 7-Eleven. I'm pretty sure everyone's been to that convenience store once or twice in their lifetime, right? So I oversee about 18 stores right now, spreading across from Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. I have a big territory, so I travel a lot, like I was saying earlier. So my daily focus is just to work with franchisee on a daily basis, focus on food safety, beverage, digital, guest services, store profitability. just making sure that franchisees are following the regulations that we apply to our company, just making sure that everyone is working well and troubleshoot any issues that they have. Now, a few things that, of course, I use during my daily focus with my franchisees that I learned during my MBA course is just communication. I expanded my skill set in terms of Excel with during my MBA program, and it's just been great. I can see the difference between what I was able to accomplish before and after. And using all of this and what I've learned, of course, you saw the statistics that a lot of people pursue an MBA program because career advancement, and that is also one of the goals I had when coming into the MBA program. So looking forward to just moving on up and just making an impact on the in the company and seeing what I can do to change and grow the business for the franchisee and the company itself.
That's terrific. That's great to hear. I also, about this program, I love the fact that you have a combination of asynchronous and synchronous modalities. So Pat, you had mentioned that there was a lot of networking opportunities with your fellow students, but the synchronous sessions also allows you to have face-to-face time with the faculty, which I'm sure that y'all found helpful as well. How much group work would you say was involved for this MBA? I see some smiles.
Okay, well, we take what roughly 14 courses. Wait, no, 16. My apologies, 16 courses. So I would say
Correct.
Majority, if not all. If I recall, I think there was only one or two class that was, just an individual course, but all of them is group work. And like I was saying, it's no better opportunity than, taking advantage of getting to know people and networking. And that's what I've come to realize as, after I graduate from with my undergrad, is that networking is very essential, and is the connection that you have makes it life much easier throughout your lifetime here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to add to that because I have actually made some really great connections that we've continued to stay in touch outside of courses that we are no longer in together, as well as some really close friends that honestly sort of we text every day now about just sort of life and things like that. So, and I know Dr. Bellos knows exactly who that individual is. But take those courses, do the group work, and stay in touch with those individuals even after you're outside of that course. It will pay in dividends because you will be able to build that relationship over time and leverage sort of their knowledge, perhaps when you're working on something in your role, or even open up an opportunity for you in the future. You never know when that type of connection is going to bear fruit. So it's been really impactful.
That's great.
I should also add to that that when we organize, let's say, events for our in-person program, either in Fairfax or in Arlington, let's say when we bring a C-suite speaker to give an in-person talk, either in Fairfax or in Arlington, we do extend an invitation to our online students, and you're more than welcome to join. So we are very cognizant. We're cognizant of the fact that networking is very, very important for MBA students, and we try to facilitate that for both our in-person and MBA online students.
Now, Dr. Bellos, would you say that, I mean, one of the things that I find that's very positive about the online program is that Mason prides itself on keeping the online classes at a small size.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're not going to
Absolutely.
feel like a number. And I think that's why, Jessica and Pat, you guys have been able to create meaningful relationships with other students. So that's really phenomenal.
And as I said before, and this is an asynchronous program, but one of the reason that I love teaching MBA students is because of the connections that I want to make. So this is an asynchronous online MBA program, but most of your instructors, most of your courses will have optional live sessions. If you want to participate or if you want to engage and your instructors will want, they will want to interact with you, you will realize that your instructors, the program director, they will know you on a first name basis. And you will be exchanging emails with them at random times to see how things are going, reaching out with feedback and so on and so forth. Yes, that's a very good point. Thank you for bringing this up, Susan.
Yeah, and another thing I've got to say is I knew that Mason, has a diverse student population, but and faculty, but I didn't realize that with the MBA that you said that most faculty members speak 2 languages. That is so cool. I'm attempting, hopefully one day, to be fluent in Spanish, but we'll see. But another thing that I wanted to add too is that big time heavy hitter companies seek out our Mason grads. So Booz Allen, Deloitte, is that correct? I mean, a lot of U.S. Department of Treasury and so forth.
That's absolutely correct, and we have a very large footprint of our graduates in those companies.
Yeah. So obviously we're an accredited program and one of the best part-time MBAs, around. So lots of good stuff. Oh, good question. Are there any scholarships for international students? Dr. Bellos, do you know?
This is one of the questions that I will encourage people to reach out. I don't have the most up-to-date information all the time. This is one, and there was another question on financial aid. Please reach out to our admissions admissions team, and they will provide you up-to-date information.
Yes, and so in terms of tuition, it's approximately $1,066 per credit hour, and yeah, in terms of financial aid, scholarships, private loans, I'm your gal. My colleagues can definitely assist you with that. That said, there aren't as many, when you're an undergrad, if you're left-handed, there'll be a scholarship for that, or you're a certain height, there's a scholarship for that. Not so much for graduate students. So most people do rely on financial aid. And so for an international applicant, that probably, it wouldn't apply to you. But most students, as long as you don't have any outstanding graduate loans, for FAFSA, most students are awarded about $20,500 per year in unsubsidized loans. But, reach out if you don't already have an admissions rep. I'm going to provide that information so that you can reach out to us, and we're happy to assist you with that. Yeah. So
I would also like to add that part of our mission as an institution, not as a school of business, at George Mason University, part of our mission is to enable access to excellence, take down barriers to access to excellence, and we take pride in that. Our tuition has not gone up for, I don't even remember when it was the last time that the tuition meaningfully went up. If you do a market research, you're going to see that the number, the 1,066 per credit that Susan mentioned earlier, is quite competitive, especially when you factor in the flexibility and the intellectual capital of our faculty and the roster that you will have access to. So in that sense, we have priced ourselves in order to deliver to our mission of enabling access to excellence, which may compensate for the fact that there are not that many scholarship opportunities.
Well, I can, our admissions reps can provide you with external links outside of Mason for some scholarships. One of those organizations is bold.org. If you go to that, it'll bring up a slew of scholarships that may or may not be applicable. But one thing that I really want to mention, that Mason as a whole is ranked 7th in the entire nation. So if you think of all the colleges and universities throughout the nation, what that means is that you're going to get a great bang for your buck. You're going to get a high ROI. it's like getting a private school education at a public school rate. So you're coming to a great program. So one of the questions is, what is the acceptance rate?
Yeah, so that's another question that I will have to defer to the admissions team, but I want to emphasize something here. Again, that relates to the fact that we're not conventional. In what sense? When someone applies to the MBA program, let's say, and we feel that maybe they're not ready to do an MBA, or maybe based on their goal statement, the fit is not there, our admissions team will work with you and they will point to you the right program that presents a better fit for you. We have other programs at Mason, Masters in Finance, Masters in Business Analytics starting this fall. So Masters in Management. That our team, again, the objective of our admissions team is to maximize your fit. So when they see applicants that are potentially not great fit for the MBA program, they work with them and they to see whether they have a better fit with another program at Mason.
Absolutely. And
So we don't view as our admissions team job is not to turn down, to reject candidates. Their objective is to find the best fit for the candidate.
yeah, exactly. And to be honest, if someone, you know, is borderline or needs something to strengthen their application, that's what I'm there for. And that's what my colleagues are there for, to suggest how to make your application stronger. So if it's going back and maybe taking some non-degree seeking graduate level courses in business, of course, and showing that you can do it at any regionally accredited institution or at Mason, getting a B or better, that shows that you're, you know, a qualified candidate and that you can do graduate work. But a lot, I think we stress, is the work experience, correct, Dr. Bells? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there is a minimum of 2 years work experience, but as I mentioned in the previous slide, on average, our students have a 9 to 10 year work experience.
Yeah, exceptional. One of the great things is, a lot of students are happy to hear, is that we don't require the GRE or GMAT. But that said, I guess if you blew the test out of the water and did really great and you want to keep include those scores, by all means. Dr. Bellows, I have a question for you. So if you have a student where admissions comes back and says, you know what, we want you to do the business fundamental courses and see how you do. So for example, right now, we are accepting candidates for the fall start, which is the end of August 24th. In June, we'll open up the January start. But say somebody's in the process of completing their fourth course for fall, but they're not done, but they've done well. Do you do provisional acceptances or conditional acceptances?
Again, we look at the file holistically, and one important thing that we put more weight on is on the work experience. We do handle those cases. We do see an increasing number of cases going that path that you mentioned. But what is very important is make sure that the work experience is there. So courses will not substitute lack of work experience. Right, and there is a related question whether work experience can compensate for courses. Typically, we do not waive courses based on work experience. Now, if someone has a very unique background that has a very specific specialization in some area of accounting that one of our core courses focuses on, we may talk about waiving one course on an individual basis, but typically we do not waive course work based on numbers of years of work experience.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have a question. So if that person who is completing, say, and this is hypothetical, completing their 4th business fundamentals course, do they have to complete that and have a grade prior to applying? Or can they be in the middle and they'll be done before the term that they're applying to starts? And that's what I mean by a provisional acceptance on the successful completion of that 4th course.
And you may, I mean, we will have to look at it. We will have to look at the deadlines, because there is we do admit students up to a few days before the term starts. So we will have to look at the specifics of the case. So I will be happy to talk more about this offline.
Gotcha. Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And any questions? Let's see. Anybody else that has questions? Don't be shy. You have 2 students here and the program director. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward it to, we have a couple more minutes here. And so we're going to go to the end and talk about the admissions process. So you do have to have a bachelor's degree. Okay, it's helpful if you have some business courses, but not necessarily, it doesn't have to be. Okay, it could be in, say, psychology or something like that. The resume, a goal statement, 2 letters of reference. The application process is actually quite simple. Mason will accept unofficial transcripts and will attempt to order official transcripts on your behalf as a courtesy. And letter of references, super easy peasy. You put in their names and emails and they get an electronic form. Literally only takes them about 10-15 minutes to complete. So, so very, very easy and important. So they want you to have successful completion of calculus, algebra, or a statistics class is recommended prior to enrolling to the MBA program. So that's good to know. But we were talking about a minimum of 2 years post-baccalaureate work experience. We do, however, accept non-traditional students. So for example, if you're in the military and you've been in the Army for, like, say, 10 years, but you're just graduating, someone like that, we would consider. Correct, Dr. Bellows? Just in terms of a non-traditional student. Okay, perfect. All right. And I wanted to provide the contact information. So if you don't have an admissions representative, here is the phone number for you to call and the email. And again, we're more than happy to go over what is required for international applicants, for domestic applicants, for financial aid, scholarships, and the like. It's a fantastic program, and it's going to enable you to get and meet those career goals that you're looking for. Any last comments, Dr.
There
Bellows?
is a question by Greg.
Yeah, thank you.
The question is, I will potentially have to be out of town for 2 weeks in September. Will this be a good reason to enroll in the online program? Or could I join the in-person MBA program and work ahead? So in general, we ask, given the fast pace of our courses, we ask our in-person students, so as a reminder, the courses take place over 8-week modules. We ask our students to not miss more than 1 week of classes in the in-person. So if you feel confident that you cannot meet that, if you think that you will be more likely than not, you will be missing more than 1 week, this is not ideal because that may affect, your understanding of the material, your participation grade, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I will consider in this case starting in the online MBA program and later on transitioning in the in-person program. We do have students who do that. We do have students who actually started the in-person student. They know in the in-person program, they know that next few months are going to be particularly hectic, and they ask us to switch to the online one. Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. And another student is asking, will a community college statistics course satisfy the requirement? And the answer is yes, as long as it's from any regionally accredited institution, and you want to get a B or better if possible, that'll satisfy it. And then there's another question. If you do the graduate certificate in business analytics and then want to do the MBA, yes, the courses will definitely transfer over into the MBA, like Dr. Bellows had previously said. So yeah, so basically what that is that will get 4 out of your 5 electives out of the way. And another question, does a diploma, oh yeah, okay.
There is no distinction. There is no distinction between the online and in-person, whether you did the program online or in person. So this May I will take pictures of Jessica's and Pat's diplomas, and then I will be using them in next year's slide. No.
Yes.
There is no mention. Modality is not mentioned anywhere on your diploma. At the end of the day, you will be getting an MBA from George Mason University.
Yes, yes. The rigor is the same. The presentation is just a little bit different. And then a question is, since the program is asynchronous, how do students have the opportunity to work together?
That's a great question for Jessica.
We typically would set up a Zoom meeting and a group text and meet over Zoom to go ahead and get our course deliverables set. I did know of a couple of groups that if everyone was local, they would meet up at a local brewery or restaurant or something and work through their course materials together. So that's primarily how we connected.
Nice. All right. So a couple more questions coming in. So great, keep them coming. I'm a US citizen, but all my degrees are from overseas. Yes, so you would need a WES evaluation, and you would need specifically, it's called a WES ICAP evaluation. But again, that's what the admissions representative is for, and we will assist you and walk you through that process. And it says, and secondly, I have not done any of the subjects need to have done before applying. Again, that would just, we look at you holistically. It depends on your work experience. We could always set you up with something that might satisfy the statistics requirement, because statistics is one of the first courses that you would be taking. But again, we look at you holistically. If you took, organic chemistry and was an organic chemistry major, and your GPA was a 4.0, and you have all this business related work experience, yeah, but it's best if you reach out to one of us, and we'll be able to assist you. Another question. Go ahead. Sorry.
And we do. Go ahead, Jessica.
I was going to say, let me chime in about the statistics course, because I think that that's something for folks that don't have an analytical background get a little bit nervous about. And quite frankly, it had been a long time since I had taken any of those math classes. You are fully supported. There is a tutor that is directly there for the statistics program to guide you through that. You work together. You have all of the resources that you need to be successful in that course. You do have to, if you haven't taken math in a while, you do have to bone up on some of those concepts, but it is totally doable and not something to be afraid of. I know a lot of people in the program also want to put it off. I would say just go ahead, get it over with, and you've got all of the resources and support to be able to help you.
That's amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what if I have graduates all the time that maybe they took statistics 10 years ago. And so, go ahead, Dr. Bellows.
We do provide, we do not expect you to, the expectation is not that you're joining the program and you remember how to do, I don't know, I don't want to mention random math topics, but we do not expect you that you will be your calculus or algebra skills will be super up to date and polished. That's why we do provide you resources before you join the program, and the math resources are quite basic. We just want you to be able to gain some confidence and refresh some of the previous skills. So let's say we do have some math resources, basic math resources you can go through. As a Mason student, you do have access to LinkedIn Learning, which has so many free of charge video modules that you can use for different quantitative statistics topics that you can quickly go through, watch a 31 hour, an hour long video, and you will be able, you will feel ready to take the start the statistics course with a little bit more confidence. So we do not expect you'll be joining this program knowing, being in a tip-top shape, let's say having your calculus skis, sharp, and we don't want you to do that. We do not expect you. We provide the resources because we understand that you're working professionals, and that will take some time to adjust to grad student life. And part of it is freshen up your quant skills.
Thank you. And yeah, again, this program was designed for working professionals, like Dr. Bellos just mentioned. A couple more questions. Do you need transcripts from programs completed or transcripts from all institutions, including incomplete programs? An incomplete program of study doesn't have an adverse effect on admissions unless, like, you didn't do well or something. I mean, again, you'd have to reach out to the admissions rep and we could guide you. So basically, for an associate's degree, we need an unofficial transcript. Anything higher, a bachelor's or higher, unofficial transcripts are fine for admissions purposes, provided that they have the degree conferral showing. And then, like I said, Mason will attempt as a courtesy to order official transcripts on your behalf. So I hope that answers your question, Stephanie. So Gregory is answering, at what point in the semester can you switch from the online to the in-person program? And there was another question too. If you enroll in the online program, can you move to the in-person program?
Yes, the answer is yes, you can move. We do have in-person students who they have taken many in-person courses, but next module they tell us that they're going to take an elective online, again because of work-related or work-related issues and so on and so forth. So you can do that. You can do that, I believe, at the end of each module. Now, I will caution. I need to mention something here. You can do that. You can go from online to in-person, take online or in-person courses back and forth, and so on and so forth. That may have an effect on your original graduation timeline. So one of the fascinating things in the online program is that you join the program and you will start building a very personal, close relationship with the student success coach. I believe both Jessica and Pat have worked with Lily, and the student success coach will sit down with you, and they come up with a timeline for your graduation. Every time that you modify something, that study plan, that course plan, the timeline may be slightly affected, which means that when you make a decision to change from in-person to online and vice versa, you will have to sit down with your advisor and look at, okay, how is your timeline to graduate affected?
Yeah, and one thing that's super important to know, that it's a one-way trip. So if you start out online, you can switch to campus, and vice versa. So for example, if you start out on campus and you decide, hey, I really want to do online, it's an easy switch. However, you can't switch back and forth, just one way. Correct, Dr. Bellos?
That's what we're advising students because of the implications to graduation, to the timeline. Because when we go through them, the course plans and how they will affect, and then they realize, well, I should not be doing that. I should not be doing that often.
Okay, thank you. And what is the required English score? It depends on the test. So I do suggest Duolingo because it's the cheapest and you can get the results the fastest. You can sign up and take it online the same day. You need a score of 120. Okay. And let's see. Great questions. Thank you. Is there a listing of start dates for the next academic year available, including application deadlines? Okay. So the next start date is August 24th. The spring start, I think usually it's after the new year sometime, but there is an academic calendar. So if you're not already working with an admissions representative, feel free to reach out to us and we can provide that with you. But typically how it goes is it's fall and then spring, which is January, and in the dead of winter, and then the summer. So, and then it just repeats itself. So let's see here. I've applied for the in-person MBA. Do I have to submit a separate application for the online MBA? Unfortunately, yes. It's considered a separate program. Anything to add to that, Dr. Bellows?
Not that I'm aware of, but yeah, send us an email about that. Send an email to the, if you have already been admitted to the in-person MBA program and you want to switch, send a note to mba@gmu.edu to let us know. And a person from our team will reach out to work with you directly on that. Before you create a separate application, send out an email to the in-person team and someone will reach out to work with you on that.
Wonderful, thank you. And here's a question. This is a great question. So Janessa is asking, you mentioned that the online students have an opportunity to participate when there are guest speakers on campus. Can you talk more about this? How are students notified?
Most recently we sent out, so we had an event in our Arlington campus. We curated a list of the students who we knew that they are local. They're in our online MBA program, but they are local. So we reached out to them several times with an invitation and opportunity to RSVP to join the event.
Wonderful, wonderful, terrific. Well, my goodness, we have gone over time. Yeah. So any other parting comments before we wrap it up here, Dr. Bellows?
I will ask Jessica and Pat to give one piece of advice to folks considering starting not an online, an MBA program. Just any piece of advice.
I'll go first, Jessica, if you don't mind. So for everyone listening, I would say, you know, I've been in your shoes before. I was very hesitant on reapplying to, you know, going back to school, earning your MBA. It's intimidating. It could be because for me personally, I've been out of, you know, I earned my undergrad back in 2015, and going back to school 5 years later with, you know, full-time job can be very intimidating. But my advice to you is just apply, take a leap of faith. Me personally, I believe it was much easier for compared to my undergrad, because if you're pacing yourself and you're taking 8-week courses, it's not as difficult as you think. Just take it one day at a time. Utilize the resources that George Mason provides you. Your professors are amazing. They are very quick on responses and they will give you all the support. But most importantly, like Dr. Bellows was referring to, was your success coach. She will help you, guide you through the process. Lily Jarvanka is amazing. She has been there for me every step of the way. I actually just got off the phone with her this morning. She will help guide you through to the right path, your course, set everything for you. Everything is just there for you. Just gotta take the course, and like I said, take a leap of faith. You'll reap a lot of benefits from it. And I already see the difference in, like I said, from what I've before and after. I've seen the difference in my progression, and you know, I can see a lot of rewards coming at the end of the course after I receive my MBA. So thank you.
Oh, that's great. If I can just add one more thing. So, when you go to apply, and sometimes that can be intimidating as well, you're going to have a personal assistant like me, or one of my colleagues. Okay. So one of the things that Mason prides itself on, again, is that support. So it's going to be from start to finish. And so, yeah. My goodness. Okay. I'm a US citizen who has a bachelor's degree overseas in over 10 years ago. I work in the US for over 9 years. Am I still required? Yeah, so you would, but again, I would suggest that you take the Duolingo. So obviously the English exam is going to be a no-brainer. It's $49 US. You can sign up and take it online. You get the results in 2 business days. Unless Dr. Bellos, you have, there's some way we can get around it, but that is the school policy as far as I know, in terms of the English language proficiency exam. Anything that you'd like to add? Okay.
Don't have any more up-to-date information on that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's frustrating. I totally get you. So it's obviously you're fluent in English, and so the test is going to be very easy for you. But like, you have to look at the big picture. Sometimes there's hoops to jump through, and so in this case, for the cost of a dinner, you do it. Bing, bang, boom, you're done, and you won't regret it because it's a fantastic program. And I love the support that the faculty offer. And you heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, the students and the program director. So thank you so much, Dr. Bellos, Pat, Jessica, for taking the time out of your evening to speak about this great program. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me or one of my colleagues. You have the information there.
And if you have any questions about the program or the academics or the courses, feel always free to reach out directly to me. You will be surprised by how responsive we are, how quickly we respond to emails.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So is there a particular email that they should reach out? Like you said, the MBA at, what was it? And I'll go ahead and type it into the chat here.
For students who have already been admitted in the program, it's mba@gmu.edu. And for students who are who have any questions regarding to academics, they can reach out directly to me. If you Google my name, Yanis Bellos, you will find me online. For any admissions questions, at online to at gmu.edu.
You got it. All right.
And attest how responsive he is. It's almost wickedly fast sometimes.
I do. Yeah, I take pride in that. It may have my emails may have typos or may may be short, but I do respond fast.
That's amazing, though. That's great, and I'm tend to be the same way. So, anyways, it was a pleasure. And thank you so much. And I wish everyone a great evening. Thank you, Dr. Bellos, Jessica,
Thank you,
Pat.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.